And so, of course, like I said, nobody believed the fact that he killed himself, including 50 Cent.
One of my favorite guests. Never a dull moment.
Never.
When the guy 50 Cent is in the building.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Baby. Curtis Jackson, ladies
New
and
York,
gentlemen.
what's up?
Curtis Jackson is our guest today. 50 Cent is here. Hello, Fifth.
Real quick.
Production bill look like? My lord.
Like $1 million a year.
So when the song comes out, is there a video on either party?
Well, no, we were actually scheduled to shoot a video, and then
Put words or thoughts into your mouth.
I've worked with Chris the entire time, Angie.
No, I know.
Like the actual mixtape run, everything, and
like every day, daily.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I mean, he's had the opportunity to work with a lot of other people in different time periods, like at the same time. Like he would work with Busta. He never would break that relationship because their relationship is like brothers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that he's like, nah, I gotta do that. And then like that there was opportunities. Like I think the Soulja Boy relationship is really coming from me.
Yeah.
And the Soulja wouldn't even listen to them. Like I had to get on the phone with him, like, yo, you gotta do this, B. And then he kind of got into.
No, but we absolutely, everybody, I mean, within the business or whatever, people absolutely associated you and Chris.
Yeah. And the deals, the brand extension and deals that my portfolio is what offered reasoning to Warner Brothers for brand assets. For the company he created to do the extensions between other artists. And
right. So how do you deal with something like this? You get a loss, an unexpected
it's a huge adjustment. And then you got to take into account, do you want to hire new management, or do you want to hire an internal person that does corporate brand management?
Right.
And deal with everything on the outskirts. Like Puff would work with Chris and have him deal with his music business. He dealt with the rest of his business.
So that was an interesting tidbit there. The fact that Chris Lighty actually was the main person that was handling the actual quote unquote music business portion for Diddy. Think about that. Someone that has spent already, 10, 15 years, maybe even 20 years in the business, Diddy himself, needed someone to manage his music business? Really? Someone with that much experience ahead of Chris Lighty? Or should I say almost the same amount as experience as Chris Lighty needed someone to manage his business? What was the real reason that Diddy even needed Chris Lighty around? And for 50 be saying that with a smile, 50 definitely knows something else between Diddy and Chris Lighty that was going on as far as Chris Lighty, quote unquote, managing the music business for Diddy.
Right.
In-house, so his staff and everybody else that was there would be a part of that process. And then
right, because for somebody like you, it's like twofolds. It's like somebody that you knew personally.
Right.
So from a personal perspective, I'm sure you feel a million different ways about what happened.
Absolutely. Like I honestly can't wrap my head around the idea of him shooting himself. So I mean I don't have all the information, so I don't point or say anything other than what's being said publicly.
Right.
But I don't believe that. Just
you
because
don't
my
believe that
personal
that's what
interactions with him,
Right.
and it's never gave an indication that was even possible. Like the first thing I see is he owes $5 million, and he doesn't owe $5 million. I'm sure he doesn't actually owe $300,000, and he wasn't in a hurry to pay. Like, it's not like vacation that there was ever a point that the vacation was being missed.
Right.
And lifestyle, there's like, I get to that when I get to that. And then away from that, when the $5 million bill was there, I gave him $1 million. I loaned him $1 million that he paid me back. And the interest on it was another $200,000. So take that 5, turn that into 6.2, and then say it's down to $300,000. Ain't no reason to do that over money. You know what I'm saying? At that point, you done took care of all your bills.
Right.
So it just, none of it made any sense to me, because of that.
So think about that. If he didn't actually owe any money at the time that he actually died, Fifth is actually breaking down the fact that he did not have any financial woes. There was ups and downs as far as that actually went. later down the line, some people would actually disclose the fact that there were some possibilities that he was in financial woes. But at the time, 50 Cent himself disclosed publicly, like, hey, he did not owe any money. And if he did owe any money, I would have taken care of it. Which we all know, this is 50 Cent at peak 50 Cent almost. This isn't yet $400 million 50 Cent, but this is well on his way. Vitamin Water 50 Cent, Diamond 50 Cent, even if you could, if we're talking about the millions of records he sold. 50 was not in a broke situation to where he couldn't help Chris Lighty himself. In fact, with all the superstars that were around Chris Lighty, there would have been no need for him to even owe $5 million anywhere. With all the money and millions of dollars he's made for the other artists, he could have easily gotten that same collateral from one of them. And 50 himself has already admitted publicly, including in this interview, if he needed $5 million or even that $300,000, Fifth could have gave that out of his back pocket.
And then just all of the unanswered questions. Whenever you're in the gray areas because something ain't really right.
How do you deal with that?
I try not to think about it. I try to move forward, and because what's ill is, for me, I'll develop
anger.
Yeah, and it's more like because I'm used to responding to something. If somebody does something to me in any way, make me uncomfortable, I respond by making them more uncomfortable. And then maybe it gives them an example and it says, leave me alone. And then like when they stop, I know to stop because I know what happens when we go completely head to head. It's always a bad outcome. But I offer reasoning for them to not come playing around me. And then in this case, you just go, well, there's nobody to really offer that to.
You just want to be mad, but then what do you...
Yeah, who can I give it to?
Who can you... Right. What's going to happen to Violator?
That's over.
It's over.
To me, that's over. Like, there's nobody
that could take that over. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. It was the experience and just how long you've been involved that it makes you respond to things differently. Like if you say, like how long you've been in your profession. There's nobody that you don't really see. There's not an easy replacement in your slot. The time of the day, if you decide to just go, they'd be trying to figure out how to fix that.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
It was crazy because even at the funeral, I've known Chris since the tunnel. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I mean, over the years, I haven't seen him as much. You guys been busy.
Working.
But it was interesting, and I don't know, a little comforting, but also like at the services, hearing everybody's stories and how much he meant to everybody and how much of an influence he has had in this business in so many different ways that maybe I know about you and I know about Tip and Busta, but.
Right.
But to hear all the different stories and all the stuff and hearing Red Alert talk about him carrying records back in the day and
you know what was interesting about that, like because like Busta, like the things that he said was really good to me.
Yeah, right. Busta was speaking on behalf of Chris, and he was telling stories that Chris has been holding him down for so long, and all they wanted to do is get this money, and they finally got it. And then Busta spent it all. And then he called Chris, and Chris would help him get it again.
And he'd do it again.
And he'd do it again.
And that was the type of person that Chris Lighty was. He would always help others get money. He would help celebrity after celebrity get money that he was dealing with, even people that was non-Violator. That's how he got his endorsements to even get up the money for a Violator. He had endorsement after endorsement from people that he helped. He was a good investor. He was a good person, all in all. So, a person like that, of course, has a star-studded
Excuse us. Make way, please. Excuse us.
Did anyone notice the stern face on Puff versus the face that was on 50? Did anyone notice this cold, stern face that was on him?
Excuse us.
Yeah, right now.
But what stood out to me the most, of course, is Lauryn Hill, is when they got, of course, like I said, the first two people they showed were 50 and Diddy. And once again, look how Diddy's just moving through the crowd, doesn't really want to talk to anybody.
Excuse us.
He pretty much just got his guy and got out of there.
Excuse us. Make way, please. Excuse us.
Almost as if he's like, all right, I paid my respects. It's time for me to go. If you ask me, like I said, when I see things like that, and I hope the body language guy analyzes that particular video one day. Because if you ask me, when I see things like that, and knowing what I already know about the diddler, and I see that stern face just moving through the crowd, just moving people out, like, hey, let's get out of here, let's go. I see things like that. It definitely raises a rock eyebrow. Because you were said to be the person that, you know, there was a whole article on you paying tribute to him, Diddy. But the article that was being pushed was not the article that, you know, or should I say campaign, that you would expect to see or hear from, you know, a person supposedly paying tribute to somebody. Now, what I mean by that is, let us refer to this article here from E-News Weekly. Well, E-News Online, I should say. Now, E-News Online says, the diddler pays tribute, right? And I quote, hip-hop mogul's former manager died August 30th from apparent suicide. Gone but not forgotten. Rather than grieve the death of his former manager in solitude, Sean Diddy Combs paid tribute to his late friend Chris Lighty with hundreds of partygoers at his annual Labor Day bash in Las Vegas Saturday night. We don't do moments of silence. We do 3 seconds of noise, the hip-hop mogul said as the crowd erupted in cheers in honor of Lighty. We don't do moments of silence. We do 3-second roars. 3 seconds of noise. Huh, Diddy? 3 seconds of noise. So you did not grieve Chris Lighty at all. In fact, you saying 3 seconds of noise instead of a moment of silence, that ain't no different than your Cassie apology video. If I'm being real here. That is no different than your Cassie apology video. We don't do moments of silence. We do 3 seconds of noise.
See, little shit like that lets me further know what it is you really do.
Because you would think a person with, 6 years you spent with this gentleman, you would think you would have just a little bit more respect for him. Including even at his funeral, you know? So that made me think about something. Let me think about something, You celebrating his death as if, it was some type of reward for you at the end of this rainbow. And if you didn't do it over Kim Porter, if you didn't do it for Kim Porter, what would be the actual reason that you would have Chris Lighty killed? Could it be if you were doing a favor for someone? And that's when the light bulb went off in my head. Are you doing a favor for someone? Because the only possible favor that you could be doing for someone, Diddy, would be Jimmy Henchman. You and Jimmy Henchman work hand in hand together. I don't think a lot of people remember just how much hand in hand you two niggas go.
The streets have always had ties to the rap game, but Jimmy Henchman is one of the scariest dudes to ever be involved with the industry. He allegedly almost killed Tupac and 50 Cent, and right now, he's serving 2 life sentences for murder and trafficking. Today, we're breaking down the wild and brutal story of why people in the rap game are still terrified of him. Let's get right into it. Jimmy Henchman was born in Harlem but raised in Flatbush, Brooklyn. As a young kid in the streets, he ran with the crew called the Untouchables, and Jimmy wanted to make a name for himself in the trenches. He already had 2 gun charges by the time he was 16, and he ended up dropping out of school and spending a year on Rikers Island. And after being home for less than a year, he was booked for another shooting. Henchman made bail on the gun charge, but ended up catching a homicide case just a few months later. He pleaded guilty to the gun charge and got the murder case dismissed, but he still got hit with a 5 to 10 year sentence. When he was in prison, Jimmy linked up with a Black Panther leader named Richard Moore, who convinced him to go back to school and educate himself. So by the time Henchman was released in 1988, he had an associate's degree and was ready to take on the streets in a smarter way. Henchman spent 3 years hustling in the crack game. Then, one of his homies introduced him to the music industry. Around the same time, Tupac was becoming one of the hottest rappers in the world. He wasn't a superstar yet, but everyone knew that's where he was headed, and Henchman wanted to become his manager. Pac turned him down, and what Henchman did next changed the history of the entire rap game. One of Henchman's homies is a known dealer named Haitian Jack. According to rumors, Biggie warned Pac not to get involved with Jack, but Pac didn't listen. Everyone knows that Biggie and Pac ended up starting the biggest war in rap history, but back in the day, they were actually tight.
Now, they're going to actually show this too, so pay attention. If you remember back in the Biggie movie, they actually showed the moment that Haitian Jack was introduced to Tupac. And right after that, they showed the depiction of the Quad Studios shooting, which they were going to actually show right here.
But after Haitian Jack and Jimmy Henchman got involved, everything changed. Pac met Henchman through Haitian Jack. Even though Pac didn't want to be managed by him, Henchman allegedly offered him $7,000 to hop on a track with his artist, Lil Sean. Pac was fighting a sexual abuse case at the time and needed the cash, so he headed to Quad Studios in Times Square with his homie Stretch and a couple of other dudes. Puffy and Biggie.
This is the depiction from the actual movie.
You were up in the studio too, but Pac didn't get the chance to link up. When he walked into the lobby, 3 dudes jumped out to rob and shoot him. After the Quad Studio shooting, Tupac accused Puffy, Biggie, Henchmen, and others of being involved with setting them up. That night sparked a beef between him and Biggie, which eventually led to the war between the East and West Coast and ended with both of them being killed. Pac aired Henchmen out on the track Against All Odds and said, "Promise to pay back Jimmy Henchman in due time. I know you is listening, the world is mine. Set me up, wet me up, stuck me up. Heard the guns bust, but your tricks never shut me up."
So let's now keep that in mind. So we have now the big link of Diddy and Jimmy Henchman, right? So let's keep in mind Diddy is working with Jimmy Henchman since early back in the day of the days of Tupac. And we all know how Diddy and Tupac's beef was.
Henchman always denied being involved, but in 2011, his homie Dexter Isaac claimed that Jimmy paid him to rob Tupac. Isaac had known Henchman since they were teenagers, and right now, he's serving a life sentence for other crimes. According to him, Henchmen gave him $2,500 to rob Tupac and let him keep all the jewelry they snatched except one ring, which Henchman wanted to keep for himself. He also said that Stretch helped them and that Henchman gave Stretch a quarter brick of cocaine to line his homie up. Stretch ended up getting murdered a year later, and Pac sent shots at him on Against All Odds with the line, "And that nigga that was down for me, resting dead. Switched sides, guess his new friends wanted him dead." Henchman still denied everything after Isaac told his side of the story, but then he allegedly admitted to being involved while he was confessing in an unrelated drug case.
Notice how Jimmy Henchman is always known for turning your best friend against you also. Keep that in mind as well. Jimmy Henchman is pretty much known for having someone close to you be the person that actually gets you set up. Keep that information in mind.
Jimmy was never charged with the Quad Studios shooting, but later, he ended up in the middle of an even crazier beef. When Henchmen went to war against 50 Cent and G-Unit, there were shootings, assaults, and a brutal murder that led to him getting his second life sentence. In the early 2000s, Henchmen was managing the Game. Game had been signed by Dr. Dre, who linked up with 50 Cent, and back then, it looked like they were going to take over the whole game together. Both of them were at the height of their careers, and the collab seemed like a huge win, but it didn't take long for everything to fall apart. According to Henchmen, 50 was mad that the Game was popping off so much as a solo artist, and when Game went hopping to all of 50's beef with other rappers, 50 cut him out of G-Unit and sparked their legendary beef.
Now, while we're on the Game, let's also tie in the fact that a certain somebody was also running with Diddy for quite some time before he signed to Dr. Dre, wasn't he? Remember when Game kept saying that he was running around with Diddy and he didn't record any records, he just did nothing but partying with Diddy? And at the time, who was also managing Game? Jimmy Henchman.
Most rap fans know all about how the Game and 50 ended up getting into a shootout in New York, but there was something even crazier going on at the same time that a lot of people have no clue about. In 2007, 50's homie Tony Yayo and another rapper named B.l.a.c ran into Jimmy Henchman's 14-year-old son, Lil Henchman, on the street. According to rumors, Lil Henchman was wearing a G-Unit shirt, so Lodi and Yayo pressed him over it. They pushed him up against the wall, and Yayo allegedly started slapping him. Then, B.l.a.c took it a step further and pistol whipped the kid. Yayo and Lodi were both booked on assault charges, but Yayo's case was eventually dismissed. But before he even went to court, Yayo's mother's house was shot up, and pretty much everyone believes Henchman was behind it. Yayo talks about it on the track Straight Outta Southside and said, "Yeah, y'all motherfuckers shot my mama crib up. My sister, my niece in there.
Now, also, the reason why I'm letting this play out is because it's going to be very important information when we remember B.l.a.c later on when we're talking about Jimmy Henchman and Chris Lighty.
And y'all here for $500. I'ma be in London, motherfucker." B.l.a.c pleaded guilty to aggravated assault over the Lil Henchman case and was sentenced to a couple of years in prison. But while he was behind bars, the beef in the streets was just heating up. The same year that Yayo and B.l.a.c put hands on his kid, Jimmy Henchman tried to take 50 and Yayo out while they were filming a music video. 50 was filming the video for his collab track with Akon, I'll Still Kill, when Henchman and his goons rolled up with silenced guns. But before they could hop out and start shooting, one of the guns went off in the whip and they ended up just leaving the scene.
It was the filming of the 50 Cent and Akon I'll Still Kill video.
Oh. On the paperwork, and Henchmen and them were supposed to come through, and I guess they gun jammed, but we had God on that side, and they backed out on the hit, but we had straps too, and that really was really it.
You said they had silencers?
Yeah.
And this was part of the actual report that came out?
Yeah.
If Henchman's people started letting off shots, it would have turned into a full-on shootout because everyone in the G-Unit crew was strapped too. But luckily, nobody died that day because someone with Henchmen didn't know how to handle their gun. There's also rumors that Henchmen had 50's house burned down, but there's no evidence to back it up. But what we do know is that when B.l.a.c was released in 2009, he was murdered in the middle of the street just 2 weeks later. Everyone connected Henchmen to the murder immediately, but it took years before he was officially charged. While the cops were working on the B.l.a.c case, Henchmen ended up going down on a totally different charge. In 2010, he was booked on cocaine trafficking, money laundering, and witness tampering. According to the prosecution, Henchmen was running a massive drug ring that operated from the east to west coast and was bringing him in over $11 million per year. Henchman and his crew would ship drugs from LA to New York, then ship cash back to LA from New York after it was sold. They didn't have to use their own vehicles to move weight either. Instead, they covered everything in mustard to throw off drug dogs and shipped it through FedEx and UPS. Jimmy was handed down a life sentence, and the judge said his crimes were astonishing in their breadth, duration, and intensity. While he was locked up on the drug charges, Henchman was charged for the death of Lighty' in 2012. His own shooters flipped on him, and there were over 35 witnesses in the trial. And in 2014, he was found guilty and got hit with another life sentence. Part of the reason why Henchman went down is because his own people turned on him. But according to rumors, he was an informant too and helped the feds put other dealers behind bars. Henchman and his lawyer have called cap on the story, but 50 Cent says the same thing. Most rap fans know that a drug dealer in Queens, known as Kenneth Supreme McGriff, is the dude who allegedly had 50 shot 9 times back in the day. McGriff is also serving a life sentence on a murder for hire case right now, and obviously, him and 50 aren't friends. But even though Supreme tried to have him killed, 50 gives him more credit than Henchman, because according to him, Supreme stayed down with the streets and never snitched.
I don't like Supreme. I don't like priming him, but he lived the way he actually projected himself. His lifestyle is consistent.
He was true to it.
He never ratted on nobody.
But Henchman told on everyone.
And Jimmy's a different kind of guy. He told on everybody. He solved the last 10 years of criminal activity in New York City in 10 minutes.
Henchman has been behind bars for over a decade, but some people are afraid that he might not be there for long. According to reports, Donald Trump planned on cutting Henchman's sentence short before he left office and said, "Let's get this guy home for Christmas." The official pardon never came, but now Henchman's lawyer says his sentence no longer exists because of what Trump allegedly said. It's been 2 years since they started fighting to get him out, but as of right now, it doesn't look like there's been any movement in the case. Henchman might end up spending the rest of his life in prison, but if he gets lucky and is granted an early release, anybody who crossed him will need to watch their backs.
So, that's the thing, right? If Jimmy Henchman was to so-called be released, even though he's serving 2 life sentences, basically, I don't think he's coming home. I don't think he's coming home. Even if Trump does pardon him, you know what I mean? I don't necessarily think the judicial system is going to let a nigga like him home. I'm just saying. But anyway, as far as Jimmy Henchman goes, what if I told you that Chris Lighty, the killing of Chris Lighty, allegedly, was actually a favor to Jimmy Henchman for Pac? You just saw the picture again of Diddy and Jimmy Henchman, right? As they were talking about Jimmy Henchman going down for a completely different charge and then getting charged later for the murder, right? Let's think about this, right? There's already confirmation from the rumors that Diddy is also an informant, right? So, being that Diddy was being an informant at the time, let's be honest. If I were Diddy, and you were being our informant, and there was another person that I was working with that was a quote-unquote informant, right? But I actually owed him a large favor. Even though I did this favor, I also wanted to clean my hands that I did this favor as well as the other favor. Wouldn't I, do my informant thing and get rid of this guy too? Think about that. If Jimmy Henchman was a so-called informant, as well as Diddy was, how did he still end up going down for drugs and a whole drug ring, as well as the murders, if he was an informant? Wouldn't another informant have to take you down to know all this? But like I said, what if I told you that the Chris Lighty killing was a favor owed to Jimmy Henchman from Diddy? And that Diddy just helped set up the killing for Chris Lighty by going to Violator Management. Now, how does one, get a favor? Right? How is it that Diddy owes Jimmy Henchman a favor? Well, Gene Deal has a better idea on how he owes that favor.
Eric Von Zilp, you said that you seen him with a check for $1 million after Tupac got killed. What's the deal behind that, man?
I don't know of any truth about that whole situation. You understand? If Puff would have gave Von Zip a check for $1 million, that's traceable. You understand? What I tried to tell people is that I saw a check for $1 million that Von Zip showed us from, in which he said he got for Black Ground Records. He sold Black Ground Records. I don't know how true it is. He said Barry Hankerson and Jimmy, what's his name? He's in jail. Barry Hankerson and Jimmy Henchman. Sorry about that. Jimmy Henchman gave him a check for $1 million for Black Ground Records. Now, what I said is this. I didn't know of Zip having a record label. Now, I've been to Zip house. I've been to Zip's studio over 118th Street between 1st and 2nd Avenue. Was it 1st and 2nd Avenue or 1st and Yard? Oh, over there. He had a studio in there in the basement and everything like that. But I had known that he had some record label. So now I said, this is what I said. The prosecutor, they do a trace on that check and that company. Was that company worth $1 million when he sold it? Why did they give him a check for the company? How long was the company put in existence that he sold? And was it worth $1 million?
So Jimmy Henchman actually gave the $1 million for the Pac hit. That's the confirmation right there. On top of Diddy already working with Jimmy Henchman, the $1 million that was supposedly given to Keefe D and Zip from Diddy actually came from Jimmy Henchman.
That's what I would do as an investigator. Did the check, did he ever make $1 million deposit from anybody in the record business? Puff was friends with Jimmy Henchman. So did he make any kind of deals with them? Follow the money. So now if Zip had a company, was it worth $1 million? How long was the company in existence? Why would they give him $1 million for that company? That's what I would do and figure out. Then I'll go to the people who wrote the check and ask them, why did you write a check to Zip for his company for $1 million when it was only worth $3,500? I'm just messing with you, but you understand what I'm saying?
You do see how people could take that check for Tupac getting killed, right? Because, I mean, according to Keefe D, Von Zip is the one that provided him the gun that killed Tupac. And you saying that after Tupac got killed, you seen Von Zip with a check for $1 million.
Well, Zip was a hustler. You understand what I'm saying? And I said it 1,000 times, he could talk a water out of well. I mean, a well out of water. You know what I mean? He could talk a well out of water. And he had more game than Kellogg's had flakes. So if he found a way to get $1 million out of somebody based on that, he's the one that could do it.
So, in hindsight, Jimmy Henchman and Diddy allegedly co-conspirated $1 million hit on Tupac. Right? So let's couple that information Let's now fast forward together with the fact that Jimmy Henchman and Diddy worked together. So how does this tie in with Chris Lighty? Well, guess who has beef with Jimmy Henchman later on?
The nigga with more money is gonna always win, stupid. They gonna report to the rich nigga. Yeah, that nigga Henchman so cheap, he putting work on niggas' head. I got half a brick on your head. Get them niggas cash, my nigga. That's a half a brick. Get them niggas cash. Fifth knew that. That's why I like Fifth, because he let his nuts hang, nigga. No homo. He ain't one of them scared ass, y'all nigga got to work on you. Because the nigga that got bread, somebody gonna always hit him. These niggas are powerful out here, bro.
Well, why does it come to this shit, though, bro? Why does it come to this shit? You been through it.
Why does he? This nigga act crazy. Like he don't know the history. This is what get me mad with Hopsin.
Nah, I know the history.
So let me ask you a question. Who is a pillar of hip hop? Chris Lighty.
Right.
Who wanted to be like Chris Lighty? Jimmy Henchman.
Yeah.
What did Jimmy Henchman do?
You said
Move
that.
on the same block as Chris Lighty. Who did Chris Lighty have? LL, Diddy, Free, 50, Buster. He ran the tunnel at 18. Who did Henchman want to be? Chris Lighty. Who was we down with? Chris Lighty. Beef is inherited. Stop playing, nigga. What the fuck is wrong with this nigga?
Beef is inherited. Yo, you
so our beef was, nigga, our beef with Henchman came from fucking Chris Lighty, nigga.
So, the entire time, everyone was probably thinking, even though we were just looking at the video just now, I know a lot of you were saying to yourselves, you know, G-Unit was beefing with Jimmy Henchman. Yeah, we already knew that. But how many of you knew that the actual beef came from just 50 Cent signing to Chris Lighty? 50 didn't even have an initial problem with Jimmy Henchman, other than the fact that Supreme Griff had the problem with Jimmy Henchman, had the partnership with Jimmy Henchman. So, yes, the beef was inherited, but the beef was already there for Chris Lighty. Yayo just confirmed it. Yes, Supreme had allegedly 50 shot back in the day, but that entire thing had nothing to do with Jimmy Henchman. The 9 shots, nothing to do with Jimmy Henchman. That entire, all the shootout at Hot 97, everything, all of that came from 50 Cent signing with Chris Lighty. So what does that tell you already? Chris Lighty was a little bit more in the street than what people actually knew.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
Why would you want to move on the same nigga block? That's like me doing my podcast next door. Am I right for that? Or you gonna want to smoke me? Come on, man. Lighty's on 25th. Where Henchmen move? Right by the 40-40 next door.
Yeah,
Stop playing, Murder. You even fucking know, nigga. Because you was signing Chris Lighty, nigga. You know Henchmen hated on Lighty the whole time. That's the problem with these industry niggas.
Where that
Y'all always
animosity
fucking
came
hate.
from? Where they come from? Where they come from, though, yeah?
How the fuck would I know, nigga?
I never knew that. It's probably before
I'm not no
them.
industry, nigga. I just
Probably
started coming in the
before them.
game.
Probably before Yayo, they
Come
could
on,
have had
nigga.
a problem before G-Unit.
See, niggas thought Chris Lighty was a bitch nigga. He was an industry nigga. Started hanging with niggas like 50, murder amping them, battery in his back. Yo, you ain't pussy. He ran the tunnel at 17. Chris Lighty done shot the fair one with Jimmy Henchman. This mad shit y'all niggas don't know, nigga.
Nah, I know that.
That's why I hate when niggas get on here and talk about niggas they don't know.
Red Alert said right
Come on,
here.
nigga.
So, interesting tidbit there that Yayo let out but didn't get into detail with. Jimmy Henchman and Chris Lighty actually went fisticuffs back in the day at the tunnel. There was a huge rumor about that Chris Lighty actually smacked Jimmy Henchman back in the day. So wouldn't it be ironic hearing a story about Little Henchman getting smacked by b.l.a.c when it was actually just a quote-unquote almost parody-like of when Jimmy Henchman got smacked by Chris Lighty?
Lighty was that deal.
Yeah,
Gave him his
Nigga
flowers.
was 17, 18,
He
running
said
the
the same
most
thing.
violent club in New York City. You couldn't even wear jewelry.
Red Alert said
Niggas
everything
don't-
you saying.
That's
He
why
said
I
he
was
was
saying.
getting down. He was
Niggas don't know
fighting.
nothing about his life.
Why you couldn't wear jewelry?
In the
Niggas got-
tunnel?
In the tunnel, yeah.
Tunnel was crazy.
I'm leaving it alone, man. This nigga.
Yo, Math is
Michael
ill
would do
nigga.
it.
No,
I'll
I
fact
want
like
him
he
to
don't
point at his hat. That's why. Oh.
Point at your hat.
Because of Brooklyn?
Yeah,
No.
facts. Facts.
Yeah.
Those niggas from all over, Bronx.
Facts. No.
Not no hater shit. Like, niggas gotta stop picking and choosing. Like, niggas been heard Henchmen was a rap back in the days telling niggas they're gonna escape from jail. Like, niggas be picking and choosing. Y'all rap niggas, y'all industry niggas, y'all pick and choose. That's why I don't give a fuck. You don't gotta fuck with me, you don't gotta like me, I don't care. And I feel better about myself about that. Because I don't care.
So you're saying Tekashi?
So, J.O. basically was letting out a lot of frustration in that interview. And that was a very important interview. And, you know, sometimes, you know, shout out to Math Hoffa, but sometimes I do wish that interviewers and hosts were a little bit more informed when guests like that are divulging information. Because that was one of those times where you probably could have got a lot more out of Yale than what he was divulging. But he would get into it just a little bit more in detail of how the beef was actually inherited.
I mean, when you found out years later that there was essentially a potential hit that could have happened in your vicinity, and you probably would have been one of the main targets.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, that's what I chose. Like I said, Fifth is my man, and I don't want to, bring Fifth up all the time in every interview. Shout out to him, but I don't, I want to talk about me and, you putting my trail out to my new podcast, Welcome to the Culture, or my weed strand coming. Shout out to We Work and Burner, Passport Boys, or the movies coming and the books. I want to talk about that. But when you talk about that, that's all out there. The gun jam, I guess they backed out the hit. God is good.
What was interesting, and I never really knew this, was that G-Unit, and you said this, that G-Unit inherited the Jimmy Henchman beef because of Chris Lighty.
Of course.
And you guys were managed by Chris Lighty, and I guess Chris Lighty and Jimmy never got along. You
think Chris Lighty would have been sticking his chest up like this if it wasn't for us being around? Not saying he was a punk. Look. Listen.
Chris Lighty has a background.
No. I know he has a background in the tunnel, and he done seen niggas get thrown through the tunnel windows. But now you got 50 Cent and G-Unit around you. Niggas that's ready to, at that point when niggas ain't had no consequential thinking. So at that point, it's like, Fifth is the type of nigga to be like, fuck Henchmen. So if he got that energy around, fuck Henchmen, Chris like, yeah, fuck Henchmen. Not saying he wouldn't did it if we wasn't around, but he had that energy around where niggas was like, fuck him. Like, I done been backstage, Fifth, don't even say nothing to Henchmen. Niggas like that feel like they, deserve respect because they OGs or what you put in the street, and every OG feel like that. But at the end of the day, these young niggas don't give a fuck about what I did back in the days. We all get older, and nigga will be like, well, I don't give a fuck about Yayo. And I'm aware of that, so I move away a certain way I move. Some young niggas might not want to hear shit.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
And I understand, and it's cool, because there was a point where we didn't want to hear shit. It's cool. The tables turn, that's just how life is. But I'm just telling you is that niggas always ran around like, fuck niggas. Like, it is what it is. And it's better to be in your little circle. You live longer like that. You ain't gotta, the grass is cut low. You can see the snakes. Keep your circle small. You don't need a whole entourage of niggas that potentially want to line you up or fuck your girl or your baby mother or want your shine or want to be like you. Or some people are like that. Some people around are not your friends. They're opportunists. Some people, friends.
You see how Yayo was saying that subliminally? You see how he was saying that subliminally? Some people are just your friends. Some people want to line you up.